Filling up my cup, coffee talk on the screen porch. So in love, now you're the one I'm losing sleep for.
Hey,
All right.
girlfriends.
Hey, Sands, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm just over here sipping on some cafe con Baileys.
I need to get some Baileys for my coffee. My cabinet is not as full as it used to be when I was in New York.
Yeah, the bar stopped.
It's all champagne over here. Some of that is courtesy of you. Diversify, have other options besides just champagne.
Right, you're welcome.
Although the champagne lifestyle is one I can't complain about.
And I drink my coffee with a straw.
What does your mug say? Be fabulous. That is so you. I love that.
The words of affirmation. You must affirm yourself. Speak into existence what you want to come out of your day in life.
Yeah, I have affirmations pretty much everywhere around my house, on the mirrors. When my friends send me nice notes, I put them up and make it something that I force myself to look at every day.
You are surrounded by affirmations, and
I am. I need the good words all around me.
Okay, so tell me this about yourself.
Okay.
I know we are not even getting into what we have planned, but I think this is better because I love some girl talk, and I love to talk with you. Okay, so over the holidays, I went shopping with one of my girlfriends, and she was buying candles that had a food scent. And I can't do that. See, I'm constantly dieting, and I can't have my house smelling like cookies.
No, I don't need that. I like the refreshing scents, like anything that smells like an incense, a sage smell. But I also do like peppermint, eucalyptus, lemongrass, those sort of refreshing scents just clears my space.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm addicted to candles. So, I think it's interesting. We both have this affinity for candles, but I would say something else that made you and I connect was there were so many things that we just found that we had in common. And for me, especially the older that I get, because most people in my life who are close to me are my long-term friends who I started my career with, some of my girlfriends from college. And I always believe in new connections, but as an adult, I also believe in discernment, and you have to be careful with the people that you bring around you. And, you can have acquaintances, but to use that term friend has always meant so much to me. And I think that you and I became good friends later in life. I mean, really pretty recently, because we had affinities and shared values in so many ways. So, it is
experiences, not to interrupt you, but shared experiences.
Well, I do want to get into the topics though. So I think that we should definitely give it a shot. And so you can agree to let me try my little strategy on you. I'll tell you where it came from. The idea was I did this activity that I called Pinot and Flow, where I would drink Pinot Noir and with, someone on the other side who was also a creative, we would jot down, call it 3 to 6 topics that we wanted to free write about. We would share the topics with each other and decide collectively on anywhere from 3 to 5. So, a total of 12 or a total of 10. We would decide on 3 to 5, give ourselves 20 minutes to free write, and then we would share our writing with each other. And it was such a fun quarantine activity. So I'm going to revise that a little bit. I want you to write down 5 topics that you're open to discussing today. I will do the same. You'll share your topics with me. I'll share mine with you, and we'll decide on 3.
Before we do that, can I just interrupt and be nosy since we're being personable?
Okay.
So you're not going to tell us how this idea came about for real?
It was a date. It was a date idea.
Okay.
It was cute. It was a cute
very surface level to way to introduce it. But
okay, fine. It was a very cute quarantine date. So fun.
All right. So my next chapter, which we have already started, 2021. What I think of most is peace. Peace, freedom, tranquility. and just living in my zen more. Saying no to all the things that just don't match my vibration. I feel like prior to 2021 especially, I was just saying yes to a lot of things and going with a lot of things that weren't matching my vibration, but they were either things that I felt like I had to do, I needed to do, or didn't know why I was doing. So understanding the why is so important for me. So in my next chapter, I want to be, and this is kind of intentionality, right? Like I want to be present, aware, and hyper intentional about the things I am getting myself involved to, exposed to, surrounded by, all the things. That way I am living for me.
And do you feel like that's a shift from maybe how you moved in previous chapters?
Absolutely. Yes.
So it's an upgrade.
It's a downgrade and an upgrade. It like I am downgrading the noise and upgrading quality.
Yeah.
So what does quality of life mean to me? What are the things that are important to me? I'm open to love in this new chapter. Like,
okay, ready to love.
Yeah, but what does that mean, right? Like, and how are we intentional about love? And what I've been describing it as is God's love. I want it to be pure,
Yeah.
simple, and pure. I don't want no stress. I don't want no drama. I don't want to overthink. I don't want to overcomplicate. I don't want to overcloud. I just want it to be simple.
Wow.
And for me, I associate that with God's love. It has to be that simple. And questioning the complication, that's messing with my vibration and my energy, and I don't want it.
You know, one of my girlfriends would always say to me, the things that are of God are not confusing. And I feel like what you're saying is very aligned with that, right? Yeah.
And
her name is Danielle. She has the podcast.
The things of God are not confusing.
Yes. So she was just, you know, I would talk sometimes. There were times in my life where there's sometimes areas and moments where I feel really unsure. And she would always just say, God will make things clear to you. So I think about, for instance, even when I decided to, in the pandemic, relocate, one of the things that people will ask is like, why are you moving? Why are you moving? And I mean, there was not really a purpose or a reason, right? You know, it's a pandemic. We're all working from our laptop. In my world, I know everyone is working different. For instance, my mom is an assistant superintendent. She's an essential worker. She's gone in every day. But in my world, I've been working off of a laptops in a 900 square foot New York apartment. And it was also the apartment that I had previously lived in while being in a relationship. Even though I had redecorated and done some cleansing, it just felt like it was time to give myself an opportunity to try something really, really new and different. And when I made the decision, the day I made the decision, I mentioned it to one person. She said, wait, I might know someone who has an apartment that's vacant you could use. And, you know, fully furnished, reasonable rent, you know, it all just worked out that very day. We weren't even lined on the rent. They came and met me to what I wanted. So just really, really aligned. I know that if I lived outside of New York, I might need a car. Threw it in a group chat. I got my apartment or my house. It feels so weird to say house after so long of living in
New York. We're just used to saying apartment.
I'm from New York. And I would say, you know, I got my house. All I need is a car. And my girlfriend said, well, I have a car that's fully paid, not using it. You know, you can use it. It's yours. All you have to do is pay the insurance. So when I say God made it so clear, I had been that's the timer. We got to go to the next topic. But I'll just finish that.
Good.
5 minutes. I just want to say,
flow. Oh my God, you want that time for real.
When God makes it clear, everything comes together, and there was no confusion, and I was scared, but he kept saying, I'm opening up doors. You said you wanted to say, here's a city where a house is cheaper than your New York apartment. You said you wanted to save, here's a car you don't even have to pay for. You said you wanted a shift. I'm making that shift so easy for you. So God makes things that he, you know, the path that he wants you to follow, it's abundantly clear. We have to move on to the next topic.
Beautiful.
And there's so much more to say on that. I didn't even talk about my next chapter, but we got to keep it pushing, sis.
Oh my God. Can we talk about your next?
No. Breaking the rules. Number 2, let's just hit it since we're already getting vulnerable. What divorce taught me, and it's going to be both of us.
I'm going to need you to go ahead and use up all the time.
I'm not going to use all the time, but I can get it started. All right, so I'm going to set the timer again. We have 5 minutes. Pinot, flow. No Pinot. I got coffee, but flow. Yeah. Okay. This is something I've been thinking about a lot just in life and my training. So first I did digital business development while I was working full time. I went to NYU and got certification in coaching. I know you have coaching training as well and a formal certificate there as well. So another area where we're aligned. Mm-hmm. And when I began the practice of coaching, it was really with a focus on career coaching, executive coaching. And I would always make the parallel between careers and love, because I think that those are 2 areas in our lives where we expect something outside of us to fulfill us completely and to be the only option and the only thing. And that tends to not work out. So I remember I would, if I was giving a keynote and talking about career advice, I would say to folks, do you believe there's only one true love? And most people in the room, they would pause and they would think about it and they would say, no, I don't think so. Because if my partner dies, if we don't work out for some reason, I'm not going to let that be the end of my life. And I would say that's exactly how you have to think about your career. What makes your career work, what makes love work is you wake up every day with the intentional decision that you are going to commit to it and you keep committing to it. But if that is no longer the choice, that is where you're supposed to be, it's okay to pivot. So I always thought that about careers. I do think I really struggled to accept that about love. And so what divorce taught me is that I don't have to stay in things that are no longer right for me just because I thought that was, the thing I wanted. And I've always been very anti breaking commitments. And it broke my heart that I had to be in that situation. But it also opened my mind to a lot of other spaces where sometimes in my life, like that apartment, I was holding on to things past their due date. Sometimes with certain clients that weren't serving me or that I didn't want to work with, thinking that because I made this commitment, I have to stay in it forever. And so let me be very clear. I'm not saying that your commitments don't matter, but I do think we have to get really good at knowing ourselves and knowing what works for us and truly, truly serves us, and not stay in situations that no longer serve us past their expiration date. So that would be the one thing that I think about often when I think about what divorce taught me. What about you, T?
You are absolutely my sister friends. Like, we're definitely connected because that is the number one thing that I share when I'm having conversations about divorce. One thing that I also share is that it's not I'm sorry. So if I could just first share that, because that is one of people's immediate reactions. So I guess it's very obvious now that we just put it out there that we are both divorcees. We are not only just business owners and friends and all the things that we've already shared and identified that we have in common, but also divorcees. And
can I just pause you and say, hand clap to us, because running a business during a divorce is literally the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
Exactly. And it's especially when you are people facing, because that chapter of my life, I call it a chapter of extreme highs and extreme lows, because there are days where you have to show up, move, motivate, and breathe life into people when you need that more yourself probably, and you are depleted, exhausted, emotionally drained, confused, don't
crying
know.
in the bathroom 1 minute because you got a crazy text, and then you got to give a keynote.
You just have the adrenaline rush of all the things running through your veins because you just been going through a text battle, and you don't know what you're going to have to face once that part of your life is over and you go back into the intimate parts. So it is extreme highs and extreme lows, but it's doable. And this is
that's the timer, girl. Ooh, it was good. Finish your thought, though. Finish your thought.
But I was just going to say, this is why it's important to also show up for yourself and be intentional about showing up for yourself and even having a great sense of self, because it is easy to lose yourself in all of the things that are happening around us. So that would be my number one. And number two is just courage. Right? Having the courage to absolutely pivot and walk away from the things and the people who are no longer serving you. That is so important. And we're taught to couple up, but we're not taught to walk away or to evaluate whether it's really working for us. And that takes a lot of courage. And you see a lot of people in situations that are no longer serving them, but they're committed to the commitment and not to the individual or the union.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot to figure that out, identify it, and also show up for yourself. It's hard.
It's hard. So we do have to move on to the next topic because that's just the game. That's how it works. That's what we're doing.
And like I said,
there's so much more to say here. So we can always keep revisiting these. I mean, for one thing, I will say divorce taught me a lot about the people in my life. It also taught me a lot about how I handle grief and pain. But that's a whole nother topic for another day. So let us move on to the next topic on the list. Go. The timer is live.
Oh, Lord, where do we start? Okay. Okay, so I'm a loyalist. I have friends forever. I have friends that go back to, for the most part, high school, right? Because that's when you begin to grow into yourself. So my best friend, I think my oldest friends are from high school, but I still have a group of them. But I also am open and have developed new friendships because they usually come like you and I connected during chapters of your life, and to fill a void and to also help you navigate new waters, right? Now, to make it controversial, one thing that I've been challenged with is growing with my old friends. And it's just like relationships, right? Any relationship, like you have to, that was one of the best pieces of advice I got before I got married. You have to continue to grow together. And that I think relates and pertains to all relationships. You have to continue to grow together. I am not in the streets partying every weekend. So if you were that friend I was in the streets partying with every weekend, our relationship is probably a little strained because we are not growing together. So I think that the song No New Friends, but friendships along the way that you pick up are valuable and can be therapy. I call friendships therapy, but it's important to continue to grow together no matter what. And some friendships really are seasonal. Not all people that come into your life not all friendships are meant to be forever. So that's what I would have to say. I have a lot more to say, but I'm curious to hear what you're going to say about new friends and old friends. And
so this is literally how the Pinot and Flow would go, is when you come up with the topics, you don't necessarily have ideas, and it's like whatever comes to you in the moment.
Right.
Hearing what you said, and then just also thinking about where I am today on that. I think there's such a value in both. And like I said, it's the older I get, the more discernment I have. So bringing new people in can be challenging, But what you said really rings true to me. In new seasons of your life, you need new equipment sometimes to manage that season. And there are the people around you may not be ready to deal with that. So for instance, when I left corporate America, all my friends were from corporate America. Launching a business is, so much more complex than I think people think. I think about the daily threats from the IRS. I mean, like my fear of what if I do something wrong with my taxes, or having employees that live in different states and having to make sure I'm compliant across different states. What sort of benefits do I need to make my employees want to continue working with me? So the things I had to learn about what do I need to do right from a banking standpoint, it just was totally different. How I manage my time, how I think about money, everything shifted. And the people in my life, it wasn't that they weren't supportive. They absolutely are. I'm so blessed that my friends really have consistently supported my business. It was that they're not business owners, and some of the things that I needed at that stage, they lacked the tools to properly be there for me. So it forced me to have to rethink, and I had to build new connections, and that was challenging. But I also think that what I love about the friends in my life who have been my friends for a long time is they can, earlier today? No, yesterday I was having brunch with one of my girlfriends for over a decade. And she called out some things that she saw in me that have been trends since I was in my early 20s and areas of opportunity and growth. And she also called out the growth that she did see. So I think there's such a unique value in those people in your life who have been there for a long time, who can challenge you to change behaviors that maybe have persisted for too long, but then can also acknowledge you and affirm you on the areas where you have had a lot of growth.
Absolutely. And I think one key piece of friendship is being able to support and also commonality, right? Shared experiences. And I think that's where old friendships can feel strained when your experiences are no longer shared. But I think that true friendships and relationships that are meant to test time will be there forever. And sometimes you really just need to work on them. And a girlfriend and I from high school had that conversation recently that if you really do value your relationships and you might see that there's a bit of a separation, but you really care, then you can work on it. If you really value it, you can work on it. Don't give up on it. But shared experience.
It cut off. Sorry, my love. It is that time. Finish the thought.
It's good. The conversation is very good.
I could say so much more in that too. I think about friendship all the time, and the platonic relationships in your life matter as much as romantic relationships and have a huge impact on how you're living on a day-to-day. And I think we don't talk about it enough, but we should be, people talk about, did you get therapy or do you have healing before you enter a romantic relationship? I think you need to think the same things about when you're entering a friendship. Am I bringing trauma to this friendship and, not being a great friend? Or what can I do better? How do I speak to my friends' love language and support them the way they want to be supported? And I don't think we talk about that enough in platonic relationships.
We do not. And also, how do we expose our old friends to the new us?
Yeah.
That's a whole conversation within itself.
Ooh, that is a whole conversation. I might put that on the list for next time, exposing our old friends to the new us. Well, sister, we are at our time. This was really fun. Do you think we should do this again? I'm going to see what they put in the comments if we should do it again. And I do think that I would love to try the Pinot and Flow format again. And I'd also be curious to hear what other topics the viewers would want us to chat about. So looking forward to hearing more about that. Any closing words?
Me too. We talked about doing this. I it's so weird to be public facing and still hate being, on camera, hearing yourself speak later on, but it's a real thing. But I'm exploring new things in 2021 in this new chapter. And yeah, I'm curious, what do people have to say? What do you want to hear more of? We present as very professional individuals, but we're dynamic and we're multi-layered. And we want to share a little bit more of ourselves with you. So let us know what you want to hear.
Yeah, 100. Video has always been scary to me. I find that often in my work, it's training. So I'm giving really tactical things for people to do when I have to be vulnerable or share who I am. I tend to be really shy. So this is definitely me stretching myself. But I do know that if not now, when? And it is something that we've said we wanted to do. We've tried baby steps at it. And 2021, next chapter, dreaming big. So let's go. Let's get it.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to the next one. Thank you so much.
Cheers. Okay, coffee cheers until we get some Pinot.
I have only water. I finished my coffee.
Okay, fine. Cheers.
Cheers. Bye.